Hello everybody, how are we doing? Let's see if this works. Oh, let's show the big finger. Let's have a look at the chat. Chat is not showing. Chat is not showing. Okay guys, if you can see me, we have a small issue because I can't see the chat. And that, right, okay, hopefully it looks like I've only got one comment, which is from Susan saying, hi everyone, got your thinking cap on. So let me know if you're there in the chat, and then I can know that everybody is tickety-boo and it is working as we expect. So I'll start off by saying hello to everybody I can see present, which is hello Susan, hello Anne, hello Margaret. How is everybody? Oh, and Janie's on board. And hello Sue. Hello Trista. So there we are. We seem to be working well, which is splendid. Splendid, I tell you. We've got Pizzazz on board. We're on Good Ship Quiz. And we may have a certain Peachy. She was here a minute ago. Peshwani. Do you like the squeak on that? Peshwani Nani. Nah. She doesn't want to know. Ah, Natalie's cat Grace is here. Hello, Grace. Oh, Tish, that's a very long hello. Who did you miss off? Hello, Tish. Hello, Leslie. Peachy, oh, Peachy. She's quite excited. Oh, hold on. Trista's got her moss. Green linen. Ah, see, there you are. Green linen. Nothing like a bit of green linen. That was the one from Latvia, isn't it, Trista? Well, I was going to say I changed the bed. I didn't change the bed. The bed didn't move, to be fair. Changed the bed sheets, which means that she gets shut out. And, of course, she's rather indignant. Les? Have I missed? Oh, right, that's short for Leslie. See, you fooled me already there. I'm like, I haven't seen a Les, have I? Oh, I have, actually. Yes, the linen came from Latvia. That could be a little bit of a quiz question later. Where did the linen come from? The linen came from Latvia. Hello, Dawn. We've all got our thinking caps on, thinking brains. Good colour on me. Why, thank you. It's very bright. It's very pink. You're Les to Tish, only to Tish. Is that right? I haven't yet heard back from... hello, everybody that's joining. If you are indeed joining, just to let you know, this is the pre-tour chat. The actual tour, which is a quiz today, won't be starting until 9 minutes. That's 9 English minutes, which is 60 seconds. So that would be 540 seconds if you wish to count down. Or if you're not watching live, you can just move that little red button, little red dot, and go, and you can scroll along. Ah, Leslie, everybody will talk to you today. And if you get the questions wrong, we won't laugh at all. Trista's very excited about the linen. I hope you were. Hello, Laurie. Hello, Catherine. I hope you were more excited about my quiz than the linen. I'm just saying, oh, Mike, I did think as I was getting ready, I thought to myself, I wonder if Mike will be on time today or whether or not I will have to put him in detention. Did you enjoy detention last weekend, Mike? Was it fun or did you fall asleep? Of course, it's interesting because there is obviously such a delay. I might nod off myself on the... there's a delay on the chat. Hopefully not too much of a delay. Oh, you see, I always... okay, yeah, well, no, you can get detention anyway. I love when people actually write names. If you haven't indeed met anybody on this chat, always feel free to join in. We're very inclusive. So even if you don't know what we're talking about and you've never met anybody before, doesn't matter. Quite frankly, most of us don't know what we're talking about. So you're in good company. I'm going to close that squeaky door because there's a dress hanging on the back of it, and that was annoying me. Did I give Mike lines? No. I can't remember, but I could. I think I may have done. I can't remember. That was a week ago. It would have been I must turn up to tours on time. That's quite a lot of T's in there. My friend at school got detention. Got lines to do, and we had to take them home, which is very strange. And what she actually wrote in between her lines was actually lots of things that shouldn't have been included in lines, and he never saw. She's a little bit naughty. Don't say poor Mike. Yes. I think she was something like, "This is an absolutely rubbish thing to ask us to do," or something like that. I don't know. We were only probably about 15, so it was probably on the limitations of boundary rather than, you know, any naughty words in there or anything like that. So we've got 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. Well, it's a good job we didn't do a sunset tour, because there's so much cloud cover that I don't think that you would actually see the sun. So it would do well for a sunset tour of mine. But I was speaking to my neighbours. We're doing a bit of the clippy-cloppy gardening. And I went inside because I'd been helping her blackberries, because I'm nice like that. Or at least I was trying to show her where the good blackberry areas are. And unfortunately, the weather means that we haven't really got any. And as I looked down, I realised I'd managed to get blackberry on my top, which I don't understand, because they weren't actually for me. So... and I didn't pick any. So, go figure. Anyway, so I went in to wash my top, and then the heavens opened and they all got soaked. Thank you, lots of lovely blankets indeed. It's all to cover up the absolute junk behind me. If you look, no blackberries, Tish. If you look, hello Emma of the Braesbury, if you look, it looks like there's somebody under there. Wouldn't that be amazing if halfway through the tour somebody flings off the blanket and goes, surprise! Surprise! I do hope our Beatrice is here, because she's our top quizzer. She actually likes to get more wrong than anybody else. Oh, lines punishment in Latin. Oh, good Lord, I don't know. Well, I probably do know some Latin. Thinks of Latin. Ah, carpe diem. That's Latin, isn't it? Or is that Italian? Let's not show my complete ignorance, actually. I'll just move slightly on. So, yes, lashings of rain, which was a good thing, because it does mean I don't have to water the strawberry plants, which aren't indeed strawberry plants, they're tomato plants. You wouldn't want to mix those up in a nice little fruit salad, would you? Have I missed saying hello to anybody? Kirsty, are you hiding? Are you there? Hello, Kirsty. So I hope you've all been preparing. If I can name plants, you can know I know Latin. I do. Tomato. Tomato plant. I'm obviously a very fluent Latin speaker. Hello, Rosie. Well, I'm glad she's here, Sue. What horrors are those throws hiding? Well, those previous quiz contestants that didn't get at least 97% correct. Did you all read the newsletter, chaps? I'm now clicking my clipboard because I'm very a fish. Did anybody read the newsletter? Corpses, take my share of tomatoes, and yes. So I've had one yes. Dawn said yes. Well, it is news because it talks all about the new tours. Did anybody read what they wrote about my tour? When I say they, I mean John. Good, because then are you all going to ask me why the picture of roses? 3 minutes to go for those that are so desirous to know. No, yes, no, no, yes. I've missed a really important vital piece. Can you talk amongst yourselves? This is terrible. It's a good job it's the pre-tour. Oh, Peachy, go in and talk to people. Honestly, what kind of guide leaves her tour halfway through? Hello? 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 Well, I forgot the most important part. I forgot my hat. Hello, everybody. Hello, Claire. Lovely to see you. Hello. Hello. Oh, only 1 minute to go. Peachy isn't really any good at quizzes, so I'll let her... you can stay if you want or go out. No, she doesn't want to... I can't believe... Oh, I thank you, Leslie. Obviously, you're talking about me, beautiful eyes. Emma just waved to Peachy on screen. I'm glad. I have done that before on virtual tours. Look, see? Nearly forgot my super hat that I end up forgetting to do while I'm there. But, you know, vital prop. Oh, that reminds me, if you haven't already voted, you've only got an hour left to vote in the old postcard competition. Oh, Casey's on board. Hello, Casey. That was a little bit musical. Casey. Casey. There you are. 7 o'clock. 7 p.m. in the UK, and you know what that means? That means it's time to start the quiz. Whoop. Welcome to everybody. You are joining, hello, Margaret. You are joining, my super quiz. I say it's super because, you know, somebody has to. And don't forget, don't get stressed if you don't know the answers. It's all about enjoying yourself. I wrote the questions and I probably wouldn't know the answers and if they were right in my face. So, let us have a look. What have we got first? So the first question was, did everybody read the newsletter? Because if you read the newsletter, it would have said, why is there a picture? Why is that picture that was used? That picture was of roses. There's two reasons why the picture of the roses was used. The official version is so that I could ask you some questions about it. The unofficial version is that I couldn't think what else to use and it's a really pretty picture. You can make your own decision. So, there were roses on the picture. So we're going to start off with some really easy questions for you. Where did roses originate? Now, please type your answers in the chat so I can see them. You can also keep a note of your scores. And we'll see how long the pause is. Oh, we've got our first answers coming in. We've got China, we've got Texas, we've got Cadbury's factory. That's the roses chocolate, I believe, in the garden. We've got Turkey, we've got Asia, we've got Spain, we've got a really pretty picture. Thank you, Susan. We've got China. Do we have any more guesses? We've got Long Mike. No, definitely didn't originate in Mike. Persia, which is where cats originate from. Meow. How long the pauses? The pauses are quite long. Kent, China, Africa. We're getting quite a few different places here. Some of you, I'm pleased to say, have actually got it right. So I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is Central Asia, probably China. So next time you look at a rose, if you look underneath, you'll see it says Made in China on it. Splendid. Now, how long ago were roses cultivated in gardens? Cultivated in gardens. Gardens cultivated. got 700 years. That's a starting answer from Mike. Jenny doesn't know. Margaret says 5,000. 700 years. Tish is copying Mike. 1,800 says Sandra. 300. 300. Any more for any more? Hello, Ronnie. Didn't see you sneak in. 5,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago. Oh, the big finger. 452,000. 500. 5,000. Interesting. Some of you, yourself and Mike, answered simultaneously, Tish. That's a very big word. Over 1,000 years, but no idea how much longer. 1,000 before Christ. So that would be, what, 3,000 years ago? Tries to remember what century she's living in. No, 1800 century. Oh, I see. So, right, okay. Well, I'm going to put you all out of your misery, but some of you have done well. And Tish and Mike, it wasn't you. It's about 5,000 years ago that they were cultivated in gardens. Now, interestingly enough, they were cultivated in gardens, and they were also cultivated in so many places that there became a bit of a food shortage in some areas of China. So that's lovely, isn't it? But, you know, if you want to eat a rose, that's very tasty. So, that's about 5,000 years ago. They were cultivated in gardens. However, I'm going to ask another one. No, I'll move off from that for a minute, and I'll say, who wrote "A rose by any other name would smell as sweet"? A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Hello, Lethargy. Whoa! Suddenly had whoo! Suddenly had whoo! Lots of chat. Tish thinks Emma wrote it. Right, we've got a couple of bills. I think you're being a little bit familiar with a famous playwright there. Tina just, do you know what, Tina? I was just thought, Tina's not here because Tina probably would have asked me to repeat that question. But now I love the fact you've said I've just arrived, what's happening. So Tina, we're on the third question of the quiz. So you haven't missed much. But anyway, it was indeed Shakespeare. So we're going to move on to number 4. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to repeat number 3 for Tina. This always happens, Tina, because number 4 links to number 3. Who wrote "A rose by any other name would smell as sweet"? The answer was Shakespeare, and I'm going to ask from which play. Hello, Anne. Did I say hello to Anne? So we did well. Shakespeare is indeed yes. Leslie has no idea. Oh, see, we're all doing quite well on this. Well, Ronnie's killed off half of the act, but that might have just been for speed. Did anybody watch Gnomeo and Juliet? That was quite a nice little cartoon animation thing. Gnomeo, Gnomeo, where art thou, Gnomeo? Of course it is indeed Romeo and Juliet. Now, in 1485, which king declared the rose to be England's national flower? This is quite a tough question. I wouldn't have a clue. Ha ha! Hi, Ronnie is not the answer, guys. Come on, I need you to start thinking. We've got Henry V. Tina thinks it's an Edward. Sandra thinks it's a Richard. Henry VI. King Henry. Henry VII. Henry VIII. The Merry Monarch. They all are once they've had a drink. Henry, well, I'm loving the Henrys. I mean, Henry's very broad. Emma can't remember what the question is. In 1485, which king declared the rose to be England's national flower? I'll be honest, some of you I'm not sure aren't Googling or copying. I'm not saying I don't think you're all highly intelligent. We've got James in the house. Not literally. Tudor rose. Well, I'll narrow it down and say that those that are saying Henry would be right. I'm going to narrow it down even further and say that those that said Henry VII would be even righter. So well done everybody that didn't copy other people and actually thought it was Henry VII. Now then, this is going to be difficult for some of you, but what do white roses signify? I don't think we give half points. I'm not sure that Henry, considering there were quite a lot of Henrys. No, Mike, it is not Satanism. This is why you get detention. Purity, purity, death. Purity, oh, you're not the only one looking on the dark side. Purity, Yorkshire, Lancashire. Interesting. A wedding. Pure, purity. Purity or Yorkshire. I'll be honest, it's not a place I'm looking for. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. There's two words, and I can tell you that both words are included in the chat at the moment. It's very exciting. Nobody's got them both together, but if we added up all the answers, we would do. I'm going to tell you that white roses signify innocence and purity, and therefore I am very like a white rose. Now then, how old is the believed to be, because obviously none of us are that old, oldest rose bush? Purity and innocence and purity. So yes, how old is the oldest rose bush? $250 years, 230, 5,000, 100, 300 before Christ, 250, 500. I'm a fairly old rose bush. 5,000, 1,000, 1,000, 100. I mean, 175 years. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of different guesses about 1,000. I mean, give or take, you know, the odd decade. Who determines which one is the oldest? I guess that would be a rose expert, also known as a Rosie-O, Rosie-O, Rose-Rose. And the answer would be 1,000 years. So well done for those of you that actually got that right. Doing quite well. Now, this one you probably won't know. It is 1,000 years, yes. No, that was the answer. It wasn't a clue, it's the answer, Tina. And where is it? I mean, how to ruin a quiz, Emma? Do you want to answer the next question before I've asked it? You know? No? Shall I pass you the questions? And you write the answers in the chat. Emma's seen it. Yeah, she would. Yes. Where then, Emma? If you know it so well, it's not a church actually, I think, you'll find. And I put this one in because Michaela was like, can you put some questions about Germany? And asked me if Michaela's here. Well, Michaela's not in the chat. Yes. Did you just Google that? It's Hildesheim Cathedral in Germany. Right. What's the next answer, Emma? Don't know that one, do you? Now, this is a very long question, so don't make me repeat it. Who demanded that her personal chambers were to be filled ankle deep in rose petals before a visit from a Roman general? I'll give you another clue if nobody gets it. Emma's not on fire. Emma's been there. It's insider knowledge. Lady Gaga, Queen Elizabeth, Cleopatra, 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 Cleopatra. That word looks really funny when you, I think it means bedroom, Tish. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria with a personal visit from Roman general? How rude. If I tell you that the Roman general was called Mark Antony, some of you will, of course, be feeling very smug. And Casey thinks it's Rosie. I'm not sure Rosie's ever had a visit from Mark Antony. I can't say for sure. Oh, Cleopatra, yes. Yes, it could happen if Doctor Who was involved, but also unlikely. Because I still think, anyway, it's Cleopatra. Rose fossils have been found dating back how far? I'll be interested to see what you come up with there. Here, my little chums. Oh, 6,000 years, 2 million years. No, I like yeats. 5,000 years. Ethic. Sandra's got something stuck in her teeth. 3 million years, 2,000 years, a few million years. Oh, well, Emma hasn't seen that one then. 1 million, 50 million years. 900 years. Not sure how long it takes to fossilise, but I think those that are going quite low need to think about fossils. 30 million, 1.5 million. Neolithic. Sandra, you got it out your teeth. Neolithic. Means nothing to me. Is that when the hairy people are about? Do like a bit of facial hair. I don't like it on myself, to be clear. I don't know why I'm rubbing my own chin. Oh, 2 million years. Right, well, 35 million years ago. Rose fossils. Now that's really interesting, isn't it? Because I've got some roses out the front garden, and I'll be honest, they just kind of, I mean, is it rose bush fossil or the rose? Because the rose petals rot, so how do they get the fossil? Unless, of course, what happened, it was the Ice Age and it froze everything and then it became a fossil. It's all very strange. Right then, let's lighten the mood a bit. Let's have some cartoon and Disney characters, shall we? We can rattle through these, I reckon, because you'll know all the answers. What fish is Nemo? That was a fish impression, by the way. I haven't just lost my mind. A John Dory, interesting. A puffer. Jacket. A cuttlefish. Tish. Really? Really, Tish? I think that in a quiz, when everybody's a sardine, interesting, when everybody's writing a certain answer, don't you think, oh, well, you know, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to write that because everybody else is saying it. If that's your tactic, in this occasion, an orange stripy fish, actually, orange and white stripy fish, you would be correct. It would indeed be a clownfish. In Toy Story, what is Woody? If he was a shark, the film would be more Finn. Oh, sorry. He is a cartoon fish, yes he is. Oh! Look at that! Everybody's been watching their Toy Story. I'm a rhinestone cowboy. Oh, Casey even adds details now. That's showing off. Tom Hanks. Is that saying a sheriff? A cowboy sheriff, potentially? Trista, we're into contemporary culture. She was fine with 35 million years ago, but as it's been in the last 20 years, it's just, whew. Oh, boys, oh! I like it, Sandra. I like it. He was, of course, a cowboy with his little hat and his little... Well, I guess he had a gun. And then he had his little gun belt and his stripy shirt. What was Buzz Lightyear's catchphrase? Also from Toy Story, so unfortunately, Trista, we're still in the contemporary culture. Yes, Mike. And what I want you to think about is that you might not remember what you had for dinner last week, but you can remember a saying from a film you watched many, many years ago. Because you know why? We still go to infinity and beyond. There you are, Buzz. Mr. Lightyear. Sir Lightyear. You should have been knighted by now. Who played Princess Fiona in Shrek? A tall blonde. Meryl Streep. Was a tall blonde. I mean, to be fair, when she was Princess Fiona, she was actually just green. And not really tall. She was round and green. And probably short. You're right, actually. To be true, to be fair, Sandra, it would have been who voiced Princess Fiona. I've got Rhinestone Cowboy going round my head. It's driving me insane. Well, there you are. Again, we've got a popular answer of Cameron Diaz. How many C's in Pinocchio? Don't write it. Don't write the name. How long is Pinocchio's nose? That's not really a question. Well done. Yes, it is indeed too. Who played Mary Poppins in the 1964 film? Oh, Margaret. Who played Mary Poppins in the 1964 film? You're getting a lot right today, guys. I need to make the questions far harder. Well, Emma, you can say Julie Walters, but you would have got it wrong. Rosie has to go. Oh, well, Rosie, the rest of the tour will be available for the next 24 hours, so do watch it then. Who played Bert? Jack of all trades in the film. Eyes on the prize, guys. Eyes on the prize. Who played Bert? That's interesting, because Rosie's managed to leave an empty comment. I've never seen that before. That's quite cool. Dick and Dyke sounds like Ant and Dec. Worst Cockney accent ever. Casey's paying attention. Good, I'm glad to hear it. Oh, she left heart. Didn't come up on my screen. Just got an empty comment. Trista's got no idea. Now, Trista, this is not contemporary culture, is it? This is 1964. 1964 is quite a long time ago now. It's actually 60 years ago. Well, no, it's not 60, it's 59. It was indeed Dick Van Dyke. Now, Quasimodo was at which cathedral? Before you were born. Quasimodo was at which cathedral? Notre Dame? Notre Dame? Oh, I'm loving the spellings coming through. Notre Dame. That sounds quite nice. That sounds quite good for a name. My name is Leonie Notre Dame. You may kiss my hand. Was, of course, in fact, Notre Dame. Now then, this is a segmented question. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is based on a fairy tale from where? I finished the question so quickly, I'm not sure everybody understood that was a question. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is based on a fairy tale from where? Barnsley. Close but no cigar. And if you know who wrote it, indeed, add that in for extra points. Hans Christian Andersen. No, not Maidstone. Ah, Emma's going for that extra point. She would, of course, know, because she loves a bit of Grimm. She prefers Executioners. Ladybird Books. Not quite Janie. So we've got Denmark thrown into the mix. I can, of course, confirm that it was in Germany by the Brothers Grimm. And we're going to think about the Seven Dwarfs. And we're going to say, who would you go to in a medical emergency? Bizaz would go to Grumpy. She doesn't want to get well. She just wants to be with somebody who's quite rude. It was, of course, Doc. Who might have a cold? There is no dwarf named Snotty. That would just be lovely. It's not allergies, Emma. I think it's actually germs, and he's going to spread it to his 6 friends. You're right. Yes, of course, it would be sneezy. No, it's not COVID, Casey. I made quite a point. It's a cold. Who stayed up late last night? Bit of a trick question there. Thought some of you might fall for it. Tina fell for it. There should be a yawny. There's interesting lethargies made up of Dozy. You know, Tish, I did actually. When I asked, I thought somebody will say, no, I had a late night. But no, I wasn't asking the chat. We're still on this Seven Dwarfs. Of course, it was indeed sleepy. And who would you avoid? It's not Air. No, you're right, Ronnie. It's not Air. It's not Fair either. Grumpy doesn't have a cold. Who would you avoid? Except for Pizzazz, who would go to when she wanted a doctor's prescription. Emma, you would not avoid Snow White. There isn't a smelly dwarf, actually. Well, they might all be smelly, so it might just be, you know, a basic thing. You know, they are living underground after all, and I didn't see any showers. And it is, of course, Grumpy. I think I missed what Trista said, did I? Oh no, see, I even read it out. Who is a bit slow on the uptake? And to be clear, I'm not asking the chat. This is again about one of the dwarves. We're creating new dwarves here, I can see. Well, Snow White wasn't one of the seven dwarfs. She was a beautiful princess. Was she a princess? No, she was just beautiful. Dopester, yeah, that's his 2023 name. What was question, Tina C? Who is a bit slow on the uptake? Or is that a little bit of irony going on there? Oh, I've forgotten where I am. Well done, Tina. That was indeed dopey. Now, who gets embarrassed? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. It's a very English joke, Mike. I'm not sure. Me, when you mistype, never, Susan. If you're keeping the amusement up, never be embarrassed. In fact, the worse typing, the better in my eyes. As long as I can actually kind of understand what people are saying. I mean, I wouldn't worry. Casey's had Deacon, her cat, write for her on several occasions. Better answers than she gave, but nobody liked to point that out. Who gets embarrassed is, of course, Bashful. Last one, who isn't sad? Oh, I think I pulled a muscle in my back. Cause we're happy. Cause we're Cause we Of course, that's the end of those. Right then. Let's get on the magic hat. The magic happens. The magic happens on my head. Right. We're going today to be talking, children, about city populations. And this is higher or lower, so you know what to do. Yeah, that's seen a lot of action indeed, Casey. You're going to have to say higher or lower. Okay, is everybody clear? For all my dopies and my sleepies and my grumpies? Okay, so we're going to start off. Emma, you can just say hi for them all and fetch a hot drink, but no, because that would be cheating. And what I want to say is, firstly, there's a bit of a disclaimer. Populations is an interesting one because nobody seems to agree on the interweb. So what I've gone is for those that are quite different. So if I'm a million out on some of them, don't blame me. But anyway, Paris has got 11.2 to 12.2 million. And again, when we're talking about Paris, we're talking about the wider area of Paris. We're not necessarily just talking, we're talking about the metro area of Paris. So if you imagine that each sort of city I'm talking about is the widest version. So Paris is 11.2 to 12.2 million. Is London higher or lower? Higher or low? Higher or low? Higher or lower? Less, lower, higher, lower, higher. Lower, higher. Higher, 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 higher. Oh. Higher, lower. About 6 meters. Higher, higher, higher. Any more? Any more to squeeze out? It doesn't depend, Susan. There is no depending. Is it higher or lower? There is no depending. Higher or lower? Higher, higher, higher. By Jove, by Ginger, it's lower. It's only 9.6 million. I mean, would you believe it? What actually terrifies me is about that number of people. Think about that number of people. It's actually very terrifying, but it's actually the answer is lower. So then we're going to move on to Sydney. Sydney. Janie, I'm sorry, I can only go on the answers that are in Google. Sydney, is it higher or lower? Higher, lower, lower, higher, higher, lower, lower, higher. Sydney, Australia. Mike thinks it's lower. Janie doesn't believe Google. I do check various sources. Lower, 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 higher, lower, 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 lower. Then where? Then London. Has Sydney got a higher or lower population than London, which was 9.6? Ah, lower, she says. Lower. Well, I can tell you that it is indeed lower. So if we think London's 9.6, Sydney is 5.2. So when you say low, it's a Laura lower. So if we're thinking that Sydney is 5.2, Cairo in Egypt, do we think it's higher or lower? It's lower from Janie. Emma's back, good. Right, well, so far, Emma, you've lost twice. So we are saying that Sydney's 5.2. Is Cairo higher or lower? Got Lethargy saying lower. We've got Tish saying higher. Kathy saying higher. Margaret Roberts saying higher. Got 2 Margarets. Emma's sticking with higher now. Casey's going higher. Anybody else? Higher, lower, higher, lower, 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 higher, 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 low, 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 high, low, 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 high. And I can tell you the answer is indeed higher. If you think Sydney's 5.2 million, Cairo beats it with 22 million. 22 million, which is pretty amazeballs. So let's move to Canada, because I know I've got some Canadians on board. And I'm going to say Ottawa. Is Ottawa in Canada higher or lower? I know, Cairo's like pretty big, isn't it? Yo! So we're going Ottawa. Janie says higher. Leslie says lower. Kathy says lower. Lower, 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 way lower, lower. Lower, 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 lower. I've got the hat. You see, I went all the way to get it and I keep forgetting my hat, don't I? Shambolic behaviour. For those in the know, you had to know it was lower because Ottawa is 1.4 million. Curragh is 22 million. Imagine how many Ottawa peoples you can fit into the Egyptian peoples. Now let's go to Germany, because obviously Michaela, who isn't here, said, oh, put in some German questions, so I have done, and she hasn't turned up. I don't know what to say. But anyway, Berlin. Is Berlin higher or lower than Ottawa? Got a higher, higher, higher. We're going to higher. We're going to higher, 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 higher. Leslie's quite firm about that. Got capitals and everything. Tish is also on the higher front. So if Ottawa's got 1.4 million, Berlin has 3.8 million. 3.8 million. Now, this one is for Beatrice, who always joins my quizzes and isn't here. Zurich. Is Zurich higher or lower than Berlin? Janie thinks it's lower. Leslie thinks it's lower. We've got a lower, 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 maybe. Emma's not sure there. Lola, lethargy thinks it's higher. Lethargy 2713, which may mean there are 2,712 other lethargies on YouTube. Well, I can tell you, Sandra also thinks it's higher, that Zurich, compared to Berlin's 3.8 million, is only 1.4 million. 1.4 million. So, let's move to Japan and let's look at Tokyo, shall we? What do we think? Is Tokyo going to be higher or lower? Higher or lower? Leslie again with the capitals. Way higher, says Tina. Lots higher. Higher, higher, higher. Well, I can tell you that Tokyo is so sorry, just need the desk and the whole thing went 37 million people. Now, when I said that London 9.6 million seemed quite a lot, think about 37 million people. How terrifying is that? Good Lord. Then let's go to China and Beijing. I have been to Beijing. Got a migraine because of all the pollution. Lovely place. Is Beijing higher or lower? Higher, says Janie. Leslie says higher still. Margaret says lower. Tina says higher. Mike says lower. Higher, says Kathy. Lower, says lethargy. Oh, we've got higher, lower. 9 million on Google. Oh, what? Sandra. Oh, 9 million on bicycles. Lower, but still high. Higher, lower. Higher, lower. See, we've got a split a diagonal split, because that's the way my hand went. Not a, or a, we've got a Beijing. Tokyo, 37 million people. And I can reveal that, give or take a few mil, Beijing has 21.9 million, so it is lower. I mean, it's still astonishing. I mean, let's be clear. Katie Malua song. Yes, I'm so glad you clarified that, because I'll be honest, the Musuji, I wasn't sure. Leslie's amazed. Tina looks quite amazed. It is a Laura people. That's more people than I can kind of get my head around. So, we're going to stay in China, but we're going to go to Shanghai. I've also been to Shanghai. 2007. Don't really do cities. Is Tokyo the biggest city in the world then? Don't know. Didn't look. Good question. Maybe, maybe not. How could I possibly tell you? Because we're not at the end of the quiz. Barbara's loving my crown. Well, it's my higher or lower crown. I've forgotten what I said. Shanghai, is it high or low? We got high, we got low, we got high, we got lower, we got lower. So we're still in China, which of course is where we know that roses probably came from. We got lower, higher, 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 lower. Again, we got a split camp, and I'm going to do it like that. This time you split like that. You could say about the same, Emma, but it would kind of ruin the quiz if I hadn't chosen one that was different. Because then I'll be, no, it's not higher, it's not lower, it's about the same. Would I do that to you guys? Possibly, but not today. Lower, higher. Well, Beijing is 21.9 million. Shanghai is about 28 million. Now, bearing in mind that every year I think that they have an increase of about 400,000, I was like, wow, that's a lot of babies. And then I suddenly thought, no, it's not just population growth. Obviously, unfortunately, is I imagine they're coming in from the country as well, and they're having birth. When you look at that number of people, it's astonishing to think how on earth they can have enough accommodation. I mean, I know this is a quiz, but it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And finally, let's move to New York. Let's move to New York, shall we? Let's move to New York. And we're going to say, is New York higher or lower than 28 million? So we've got Americans on board, of course. You'll know the answer to that one. Claire's saying it's higher. New York, New York. Did you sneeze, Peachy? I'm in the middle of entertaining people. What are you, sneezing? Higher, lower, lower, lower. Higher, 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 lower, lower, lower. We're kind of split. We're moving into the lowers. I think that's people copying each other now. Or is it? Bless you, Peachy. That's Auntie Janie, yes. Thank you for caring. She doesn't have allergy. Well, she might have allergies. She's probably allergic to quizzes. Anyway, the answer is Topsy. Hello, hello, Topsy. Peachy says Canada's entire population is only about 38 million, but they're all wonderful, Kathy. New York. So Shanghai's 28 million. New York is only 19.4 million. Went to New York, loved it. Didn't realise there were that many people. And again, don't forget we're talking about the environs, not just the city centre. The environs. I don't actually know if I ever use that word, and if I do in public, whether I have to use that. Right, well, of course we're going over time. I am not including dead people. Thank you, Mike. Because that would just be a little bit odd. How do they all fit on in there? Well, I guess they build up. They don't have bungalows. And yeah, lots of flats, and it's all very terrifying. Right, of course we're over, but I'm going to do my last section. Songs from musicals. If you don't like musicals, you are doomed. Okay, I'm going to list some songs and you have to let me know which musicals they come from. My favourite things. Mike's doomed. Emma, please sing. None of us can hear it. Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Fair Lazy, Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Emma's singing, Sound of Music. Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Sound of Music, Sound of Music. Raindrops on roses and fishes on dishes. There are a few of my favourite things. It is Sound of Music, well done. Emma's been there, Emma's been everywhere. Whiskers on kittens and mittens on flittens. Yes, I've no idea. I probably wouldn't even know if I thought about it. I don't know that I've watched Sound of Music from beginning to end. But anyway, it was indeed The Sound of Music. Think of Me is the next song, not just Think of Me. Think of me. And if I tell you this is my favourite musical, think of me. La 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 la. Think of me when you say goodbye. La 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 la. Think of a theatre. Think of someone wearing a mask. That was a clue, by the way. That isn't actually the song. I've either burst all your eardrums or the chat stopped working. Wouldn't that be amusing? Oh my God! Oh, stop with the big finger. It's ridiculous. Ah, the chat's mucking about. Spice World, West Side Story, Ronnie, Phantom, Maskman, Les Mis. That's not helping. I'm so sorry, not sorry. Dracula, Phantom. Have been having lessons. I can't sing for toffee. When I first started, I was like, well, I can't sing. I think I sing on every tour and just never mind. It was indeed Phantom of the Opera. Marvellous. Love it. Adore it. Love it. I dreamed a dream. From time gone by. Joseph. Les Mis. Joseph. Les Mis, Greatest Showman. Probably a contender for my second favourite. Les Mis. I'm so funny. You're so funny. It's not a musical, Tina. Les Mis. Now, why in a quiz does the chat stop working? Les Miserables. Les Mis. I dreamed a dream of times gone by. Oh. Yes, indeed, it's Les Miserables. Hopelessly devoted to ye. Tina, it was I dreamed a dream from Les Miserables. It's gone. It's gone now. We're on Hopelessly Devoted to You. You. and you and you and da da da. We have a few answers for the older, yes, we have quite a few. Saturday Night Fever, no. Grease seems to be a popular choice. Margarine is another option to put on your baking tray. Cats, is that an insult? Am I singing while thanks then? Dogs, interesting. Hopelessly Devoted to You is indeed Grease. Now we're going to move on to Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata, you say Matata, I say Tomato. Let's throw the whole thing off. No, Emma, I noticed the song that was coming out and I was like, no, not that one. Hopelessly, we love a good sheep, don't we? Grease, The Lion King, The Lion King, The Lion King. So Grease Lightning, Lion King, Lion King, Lion King, Tish, 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 Lion Kingsky. Oh yes, Kingsky. Lion Kong, interesting. The Lion Kong. No, I like it, because now I'm thinking of a King Kong, but a lion, so it'd be like kind of really lion-y, but big. Oh, Pizzazz has gone emoji. Well done, it is, of course. Lion King, bonus point for knowing what Hakuna Matata means and which language it is. Hakuna Matata. Emma thinks she's got what it means. No worries, Swahili, African, nice but long. No worries about a thing. Everything. German for pay at the window. What? Don't worry. No worries for the rest of your life. No worries. I'm well impressed. I'm proper well impressed with you guys. Yes, we are, of course, talking Swahili, and it means no worries. And we're moving on to the next one. Wouldn't it be lovely? I'm not going to sing it the way it sings it, in case we give it away. Claire's out with the Mel's got My Fair Lady, Margaret, Tish, Dr. Dolittle, My Fair Lady, My Fair Lady, My Fair Lady, My Fair Lady, Fair Lady. Janie, have you guessed on this one? My Fair Lady. Well done, Janie. Well done, Janie. Because interestingly enough, Janie, you've already got it, but you got it for the wrong one. So, you know, you kind of knew. Kind of did an Emma, but not quite. It was indeed My Fair Lady. Over the Rainbow. Ah, Gerard's Theatre Doors. Very good, yes. Wizard of Oz, Wizard of Oz, The Muppets, Wizard of Oz, Wizard of Oz, Wizard of Oz, Oz. Anybody else for Muppets? Wizard of Oz. Over the Rainbow, Muppets. I can almost see Kermit singing to Miss Piggy. I don't think I can do a Kermit impression. Let's leave that one then. Let's just say it was indeed. Well done, everybody. Kermit the Frog may sing it. However, he's stealing it from the Wizard of Oz. Kermit. I do a better Miss Piggy impression. Lady Marmalade. Soul sister. Will you do a better impression of Kermit, Mike? Can't hear you. Hair. Apart from Leslie, we've got Moulin Rouge. Her sister, soul sister, soul sister. A bit of orange marmalade on my toast, very nice. South Pacific. No. We are on the Moulin of the Rude. Rude? We're on the Rude Moulin. How rude. We're on the Moulin Rouge. Oh my goodness, my alarm's going to go off. You know why the alarm's going to go off? Because it's the postcard competition. Did you all vote for me? Well, you don't have time now because in 1 minute it's going to stop. Cats? No, it is indeed Moulin of the Rouge. 2 more to go and then it's done. Suddenly Seymour. Suddenly Seymour. Suddenly Seymour. Seymour. Leslie's put 3 question marks. That means she's not just slightly confused. She's not even just quite a lot confused. She's extraordinarily confused. Suddenly Seymour. Little Shop of Horrors. Right. Need to do that in a minute. Hamilton. Little Shop of Hoppers. Not the Little Shop of Hoppers. Sandra, that's your fault for having Sandra Hopper and the Little Shop of Horrors. Meant I have the Little Shop of Hoppers. Which would be if you were selling rabbits or frogs. The Littlest Pet Shop sounds cute. Plant eating one. Little Shop of Horrors. Shop of Horrors. 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 Little Shop of Horde. Quadrophenia. Little Shop of Horrors. Horrors. Well, now there is the Little Shop of Hoppers. It was indeed the Little Shop of Horrors. And the last one, Be Our Guest. Be Our Guest. That's it. That's it. Last question. Last question. We've been over an hour. It's absolutely shocking timekeeping. Be our guest. Be our guest. Beauty and the Beast. Psycho. Not Psycho, is it really? No. Sweeney Todd. Ooh. 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 Singing in the rain. Just singing in the rain. Beauty and the backslash, 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 backslash Beast. Beauty and the Beastie. No idea. Mike's in an alternative universe. Oh, she's gone. Has she gone? Has she gone? Yes, she's gone. She's gone. That's going to show Beauty and the Beast by... Oh, could nobody have told me? Not one of you dreadful, dreadful people said, Leonie, you're still wearing your green hat from higher or lower. You look a fool. Nobody looks after me in this place. Nobody. Outrageous behaviour. I put all this time and trouble into the quiz and you make me look a fool. It was Beauty and the Beast. Well, Tina thought it but didn't say it. That's nice. Are you somebody who watch your friend go out with the label hanging out and you think, oh, their label's hanging out. But you don't say, let them go through the whole night with the label sticking out. Right, well, that's it, you rabble. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you that's been able to send me a little something something on my PayPal or by Buy Me a Coffee, which is pinned to my YouTube channel. It's pinned to my forehead, or should be. If you would like to become a member, then please do so. And that means that you get access to my previous tours, which obviously are fabulous. If you could indeed share your love, if you enjoyed the quiz on Leonie on Tour, my Facebook group, or indeed Together Virtually, or indeed to the whole wide world, because of course the more people that join, the more successful a guide I become. Then I can retire and just do quizzes every day for the rest of my life, and then I would have to go to a sanatorium. So, moving swiftly on. So Leslie got 30. Well done. I cracked up Janie. Emma, there is no such thing as thick. Everybody knows things. They just don't necessarily know the answers to the questions that have been asked. Ha! Glad. Thank you, Barbara. That's very kind. I rock. I will be rocking very soon. Tina's sad it's over. Well, Tina, you did miss the first 2 questions, so you can indeed watch the first 2 and see if you knew those answers. So thank you all for joining. I must go because I need to close the postcard competition and see who's won, and then make a note of who's won. Indeed, thank you so much for joining, and if you haven't already, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye for now. I would advertise my tour next week, but I don't know what I'm doing yet, so ha-ha, well organised me. Bye. Oh, lots of messages I haven't seen, because the chat, of course, stopped working. Ah, brilliant.